Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We will be introducing Dynamics 365 Project Operations, which is a new offering from Microsoft that we released on October 1st. My name is Görkan Salk. I'm the GM for Dynamics 365 Project Operations, and Rupa Mantravadi is accompanying me today to do the end-to-end demo at the end of the session. I will talk about the business problem this new product is addressing and cover the vision and strategy. Afterwards, I'll provide an overview of our industry coverage and how we fit into the broader Microsoft portfolio. At that point, I'll turn it over to Rupa for the end-to-end demo. Dynamics 365 Project Operations is a new offering from Microsoft, which is basically a business application that targets service organizations with project-centric service offerings. Project Operations is the evolution of our project service automation offering, combining capabilities from Microsoft Project for the web and project management and accounting and expense modules in F&O. Services businesses are embracing the move to the cloud faster than product-centric organization. We see this in our own telemetry and also when we look at analyst reports. And there's a good reason for this, as they need the ability to quickly respond to customer or business demand shifts with innovative and valuable service offerings that can be delivered on time, on budget, and within scope. If you look at a product organization, introducing a new offering for the product organization is a long and capital-intensive process. They need to design the product, pilot it, prepare the manufacturing facilities for it, build up inventory, make sure that their supply chain is in place, and then they can launch it into the market. That's not the case, however, for services businesses. They can adapt to demand changes much easier and come out with new offerings quickly or shift focus as needed by hiring the right resources with the appropriate skills or train existing resources in underutilized practices to deliver the in-demand offerings. In order to do so, they need to have an application that provides these insights timely and gives them the agility to respond to customer or demand shifts quickly. Although these organizations are very quick to go to the cloud, their application landscape within their organization is still very siloed. Merging the data from all these siloed applications to derive insights becomes a challenge and introduces many inaccuracies in the process. Project Operations connects the entire organization and empowers sales, project management, resource delivery, partner management, and accounting teams with the visibility they need to win more contracts, accelerate project delivery, and maximize profitability. Project Operation integrates with customers' current systems such as sales, finance, and HR without the need to rip and replace existing systems. Dynamics 365 Project Operations is an offering that includes end-to-end capabilities all the way from project sales to project financials. Through the capabilities of the Power Platform, there are several insights that Project Operations will surface for all the different personas involved, such as resource utilization and P&L information for your project business. These are the main capabilities that you can expect to see in Project Operations. If you look at this slide shows you the richness of our capabilities all the way from sales to project financials. And I'm not going to double-click into these capabilities, but looking at these boxes, you can see that we have very rich capabilities all the way from front end to the back end. Through the investments we have done into the Power Platform, we are in a unique position to bring these traditional CRM and ERP capabilities closer together and offer a solution that has very rich front-end capabilities as well as back-end capabilities. In these next couple of slides, I would like to talk about how Project Operations fits into the bigger Microsoft portfolio, as well as touch on our industry coverage. Project Operations has several better together scenarios with our Dynamics 365 portfolio. Starting at the bottom here, our out-of-the-box integration with Dynamics 365 Sales allows our customers to manage their product and services opportunities and pipeline in a single view. With the Dynamics 365 Finance integration, we are able to provide a service-centric ERP to our customers, extending Project Operations end-to-end capabilities all the way to accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, and general ledger. Through the marketing capabilities, we're able to provide a comprehensive lead to opportunity to quote process for both product as well as services sales. For customers who have both field service functions as well as project-centric service functions, we're able to support a central resource pool where resource availability can be managed regardless whether the resources are assigned to projects or whether they are assigned to work orders in the field. Human resources-based scenarios allow us to store consultant skills, profiles, leave and absence information, and master those in our HR system and pull these into project operations, and also provide insights back to the HR system on readiness and hiring needs for the services business. Through our integration to Dynamics 365 supply chain, we're able to support stocked and production-based scenarios for customers, especially in the manufacturing and engineering industries. Project Operations is built on top of the Power Platform. Similar to any other Dynamics apps, we have the power to use Power Automate, Power Apps, Power BI, and be able to extend Project Operations capabilities to our customers' needs. When we look at the Microsoft 365 broader portfolio, Project Operations leverages capabilities directly from Project for the Web. I'm sure you have seen many Project for the Web demos already in this conference. We also support integration with Microsoft Teams, where Teams can be leveraged for members of a project or the opportunity to collaborate and share documentation in a private team setting. And last, I would like to talk about our partner motion and how we work with our partner solutions. Project Operations is a horizontal workload where we leverage the industry expertise of our extensive partner ecosystem to go the last mile to serve customers in a specific industry. When we look at our unique value as Microsoft and as Project Operations, again, the first point talks about the richness of our capabilities end-to-end. Through the investments in our Power Platform, through capabilities such as dual write and virtual entities, we're able to bring these front-end and back-end capabilities seamlessly together for our customers. The second point talks about how project managers can work in their business application seamlessly with using Microsoft Project. With Project Operations, a project manager can now use Microsoft Project, manage their project within their business application, and this will seamlessly translate to revenue and cost. And then the last point talks about the market insights. Having a single view of your sales operation all the way to the accounting operation allows our customers to be able to get insights around market demand shifts. They can see which offerings are the most profitable, which offerings they should be pushing in the market, if they have the right skill sets, if they have resources on the bench, and can adjust their hiring and readiness plans accordingly. On this slide, I will be talking about the roadmap and what's coming in April. So we have also included what's top of mind for us from a future perspective. What you will see in our April wave is we will be lighting up non-stacked material support end-to-end. So you will be able to sell both non-stacked materials and services to a customer and have all the procurement processes light up all the way from sales to project accounting. We will also be lighting up integrated task-based billing as part of our April wave investments. And we will be opening up the task API for create, update, and delete operations. Editing of manual contours and importing of MPP are other capabilities and features that we are investing in. If we look at the fundamentals category, the PSA upgrade, we're looking to have a preview in September of this year so that our customers who are in production with PSA can easily upgrade to Project Operations. Last but certainly not least, a big chunk of our investment is going into improving our provisioning and ALM story. Given that our solution is running on both F&O and CE capabilities, we're looking to improve our trials experience and our provisioning experience. I will not go through all the details of our feature capabilities, but the top two capabilities that we're looking to invest in post-April is subcontracting and project budgeting. Again, we will be lighting these up in an end-to-end manner, combining sales personas, resource manager personas, and project accountant personas from a subcontracting perspective, and similarly on project budgeting. And now I'm going to hand off to Rupa for her to walk us through an end-to-end demo of project operations and go deeper into the details of project operations capabilities.
Thank you, Gurkan. I'm super excited to show you the end-to-end vision of project operations and how we have realized it in the software. I'll be showing you how project operations brings all personas together, present them the data that they need about the project, and how they can utilize that data and how we help project operations be the one-stop tool for all processes and data related to projects. So I'm here, and this is the opening page. I'm here, and this is built on the native charting capabilities in Dataverse platform. I'm on the invoicing dashboard, and I can also utilize the practice manager's dashboard. All of these charts are interactive with drill down capabilities. Project operations is built on the sales functionality, Dynamics 365 sales functionality, which gives us the ability to start from very early in the sales cycle, from opportunity through to invoice. What you see here is a project-based opportunity. And on project-based opportunity, we have that business process flow coming from Dynamics Sales. And we also have the ability to specify if a line item on the project opportunity is time and material or fixed price. And just as in Dynamics 365 Sales, you can have multiple quotes against an opportunity. And the quotes can be analyzed based on how profitable they are, what's the margin. And if you drill down into a particular quote, basically the quote has some very good insights on what's the total chargeable cost, what's the total revenue, and what is the anticipated margin, and whether the quote is profitable or not. And in addition, whether the quote fits in within customer expectations of budget and schedule. The way these insights are getting hydrated is based on detailed estimation that you can do either on the quote. So let's drill down into the quote line. And you can see that each quote line is tied to a project. So you can bring the estimation from project into the quote to build that credible proposal. Or you can directly estimate on the quote surface to say, okay, I need this body of work and it will use this type of role and it goes from this date to this date and this many number of hours, and the system is able to calculate the revenue and cost for each of those line items. But on the other hand, if you do really map a project to a quote, you will see that you can then leverage projects. Basically, all the estimation and planning that a project manager does on the project can be utilized by the sales teams because it's all in one tool. And so here's a detailed project plan. And this project plan uses the Microsoft Project Scheduling Engine that Gurkan was talking about earlier. And it also uses the scheduling capabilities of Project for the Web. And those are some of those interaction patterns that you see. And so a project is leveraging the project calendar. And you can see the tasks being laid out along the project calendar's timeline, respecting working calendars. And a project also has the Gantt view. And you can zoom out a little bit so you can see the full timeline. And this is an interactive Gantt. You can, make tasks longer or reduce duration of tasks, and the dependent tasks automatically move. And the best thing about this is if you just didn't like what you did, you can just do that Control-Z, which brings the project plan back to where it was. So it's meant for those power users, people who live in their project plans day in, day out, and keep them in the tool for that purpose. Now, as you're planning these projects, yes, you can definitely, if given that this is that end-to-end tool, you can see that as you're planning these tasks along the timeline and deciding who should be performing these tasks, you're seeing the project team get hydrated automatically, and you can start your staffing activity from here. The other thing you can do is you can also see the financial estimate getting built all the project manager is doing is managing those tasks, setting them along a timeline, and deciding what type of people will be performing those tasks. And then the system is able to create a list of team that you need to put together for fulfilling those resource needs. And it's also building that financial estimate. So this is my sales estimate, and I can also see the cost estimate of this project. And I can see it along a month granularity or a week granularity, so that then use this to build that quote. And once the project is won and you have a contract in place, there are many things you can do on the project surface. Basically, you can start staffing your team. So this is where we have very rich, deep capabilities in resource scheduling. And we can have the project manager book people on their project, just like, I could just simply select it and hit the book button, which shows me the type of people that are available and who I can staff. Or I can also submit this request to a resource manager. This request has already been submitted, but I can submit this request to a resource manager who can then leverage that staffing experience to provide or propose resources who I can review and then accept. So going into that staffing experience, what we have is a schedule board. This is really geared for staffing, enabling staffing experiences. You can see here a list of all the people working in your organization, and you can see how they are booked for the timeline that you're looking at. And you can also have the ability to drill down or drill into some of these timescales. You can also expand all these resources, which gives you an idea into what type of engagements they are busy with. Let me just increase the real estate that we have here. So you could perform a search from right here, or if that's not what you're up for, you're just looking to staff some of these requirements that you're seeing down below, you can just hit the find availability, and that will automatically load your requirement attributes and perform the search and show you the resources who are available. And if you don't have any resources, as I've looked here, I don't have many resources, so I can relax a few of these and perform the search again, and that would then hopefully bring me some additional resources, and then I can make those booking decisions. So that is a little bit about our staffing experiences. Now, as the project is in execution, I can also have my staff, the team on the project, submit time entries, submit expense reports. And here we have, this is our time entry experience. You can enter time based on for multiple days in the week. You can import time entries from different sources, like the work that I'm assigned to or my bookings. You can also, if you're working on a long engagement, copy your time entries from a different time period to this period. And all of these time entries, once you're satisfied, you can submit the time entry, and that gives your project manager an approvals experience where they can review the time you have submitted and then approve it. One insight they get at this point is whether that time you just submitted has succeeded contractual terms or has it failed validation, and this one has failed a not to exceed limit. So at that point, the project manager can decide whether they want to approve it or reject it and send it back to the consultant. So that is a little bit about the time entry. And on expenses, we have a very rich expense experience, which, like Gurkan was saying, it serves dual purpose. It helps employees get reimbursed, and it also helps you gather those costs on your project and send it off to your customer for invoicing. No need for any double entry. Your consultants just enter one expense, and you can set up policies. We have a very rich policy framework, which allows you to set up validations, like, say, attach a receipt for certain categories of expenses for a certain organization. So those kind of validations help the consultant submit valid expense reports that will get invoiced. Another very cool, nifty feature around expenses is our receipt capture. Basically, we all have dealt with scenarios where we come back from a trip with a bunch of receipts, And so this is a capability where I'm able to select a receipt that I have, upload my receipt, and the system automatically says, okay, I know this is the date and this is the merchant, and I can automatically create expense entries from here and then submit my expenses fairly quickly and get those approved. One good thing is, okay, all this financial activity is coming in. You can review that financial activity, based on your dashboard experiences. I have a invoicing dashboard here. I can see all the billing backlog, and I can mark those invoices as ready or not ready. And then based on that, I can generate an invoice. This is an invoice that I've generated, and it's our project manager's experience where they can review and edit invoices as they see fit, because it's important that a project manager knows and understands what charges are going to the customer. They are responsible for the work as well as a relationship with the customer so that the project is smoothly executed. So they can make those changes, and when they are ready, they can confirm the invoice, and that sends the invoice to our accounting module. And this is the invoice that I have previously confirmed. This D6H9S1 invoice has now been sent to our accounting system. And here the project accountant can come in, they can add sales taxes, they can decide on the layouts for this invoice, how this invoice should get printed. And here we have pretty configurable capability on how invoices can be sent. This is an Excel-based format. You can have a Word-based format. You can decide whether you're going to print the invoice or send it on email to your customer. And this can be done at various levels for a customer, for a contract, or for that specific invoice. In addition to invoicing, we have scenarios for the accountant, and we all know for projects it's very unique in that you don't recognize revenue as soon as you invoice all the time. For time and materials, that totally makes sense, but for fixed price, your invoice schedule may be slightly different or orthogonal to how work is happening on your project. So in those scenarios, it's important to have a revenue recognition experience for the accountant to recognize revenue based on percent complete or what has been earned. So this is something that we enable by flowing that progress percentage or work progress percentage to the revenue recognition module, so that an accountant can recognize revenue based on multiple methods, actually, not just work completion, maybe straight line method of revenue recognition. It's a fully IFRS compliant revenue recognition engine for projects. So here's a revenue recognition that I posted for A-Data Mini remodel project, and you can see all the way to the GL entries that have been created for this project. So it's a end-to-end solution. It's a product that's getting a lot of investment and a lot of functional richness for all of these personas to interact with the projects, get the information, insights they need, and be successful. So that is an end-to-end overview. Thank you very much for watching that. We will now transition to the quick call to actions that we have. A quick summary of the call to actions that we have for you. If you're interested in project operations, how to configure it, use it, and everything else about it, visit our help site. It's pretty detailed, and we have tons of help on various aspects of project operations. Please join us on our communities. We are active on Yammer, LinkedIn, and on Dynamics communities. And if you want to make your voice heard, if you're aching to give us feedback on new features, please visit us at our ideas site, aka.ms/projobsideas. And there are many more related sessions in this conference. There is new concepts in project operations, deal management capabilities, invoicing, revenue recognition, maximize resource utilization, and many more sessions, all related to project operations. Please go ahead and visit the other sessions on this conference. Thank you again for watching.